But yeah, that all makes. But yeah, having the fire breath is probably what really allowed the dragons to push into intelligence. I'm thinking that and tool use because of their grasping hands to climb around, they could manipulate things, and that's a very important trait. Just having arm, the second pair of arms also let them go into tool use too, which is what I find the most interesting method from this thought experiment. Does it sort of make, you know, uh, yeah. The With this thought experiment, it is what allows the dragons to push into full intelligence, I think. Like, they don't have to worry about their wings not having enough manipulation power to, you know, do do more than what crows do, which is basically use their feet. As a note, as a note, the the wyverns are basically at the point where crows are in terms of intelligence. They so for anyone that does hear, I am actually basing a lot of this on the research I did for my novel. I am making a novel about dragons that are only so magical. Like, the only magic is really increasing the strength of muscles and bone and scales. Basically, nothing is really. They don't have like magical fire breath. They don't have spell casting. They just their body just processes that stuff into basically what amounts to supercharging muscles and making the the skeleton and scales harder. Basically, giving them a bit of a boost towards being able to fly while still being like elephant sized. Because unfortunately, even with what we have here, I doubt a dragon could get bigger than a dog. So magic is still needed, just just for the size I want. Like, I am. Oh, that's another thing that's fun. The bones are hollow, and they have a. I mean, they'd have to be hollow, of course, but apparently, when you have hollow bones, a lot of animals just prefer to use that as a secondary air system somehow. I still have no idea how that exactly works, but eh. So, but so the dragons have not quite as a sophisticated air system as birds. So they don't have uh quite the what do you call it? The as sophisticated a system as birds, but then they still have air sacs, and they do breathe tidally, but the air sacs allow for the rapid oxidation that a flying creature would need, And also, because they can tidally breathe, they can also get really high in the air because, yeah, apparently you need tidal breath when you're, like, soaring as high as an eagle, apparently. Or higher in the case of a dragon, because they have bigger lungs. They might be able to stand up into higher altitudes at the very least, what do you call it? What do you call it? They can hold their breath long enough to go really high. They just would have to come down after probably some odd minutes. And of course, yeah, they need air to flap against too. Yeah. That's actually. Did you know that I showed you that that ref sheet I did of my new dragoness, right? Her ears are based off a seal. I don't think they're quite that saturated with their blood. But they have like a decent ability to just fly into the upper atmosphere without, for a temporary amount of time at least. They don't have they can't hold their breath like the way a sea mammal could. But they can. Also, a neat thing. You want to know a really neat thing about my dragons? Yeah, they just can't fly much high. They can't fly so high that they can't use their wings, which generally is a good limit anyway. Because, yeah, yeah. By that point, they don't need to breathe because they can't get that high. Anyway, you want to know something really interesting I'm thinking for my dragons? So the dragons, rather than using I think a lot of people put dragons with ultrasonic sounds. My dragons are the opposite direction. They are infrasound, like deep into the infrasound, about 15 hertz. You might have to actually that's actually something you're gonna have to put in on the skull. Is they need a bone design. They need ear bones designed for infrasound like that. They also, when we get to the musculature part, I'm gonna have to tell you all about some of the adaptations that the dragons have in communication. So one of the really neat things I decided to include is called, you know what a resonant sac is, right? And dragons would have one, just not as big as a frog. It'd just be in the center of the neck, just below the skull or chin. Yeah. And basically, like, it'd be kind of where our, where the Adam's apple would be, or not the Adam's apple, right between, if it was a human, it would be like right between the Adam's apple and then the start of the chin area. Anyway, it also expands not hugely, but enough that it can add to the already impressive voice of a dragon like that. Doesn't need to be super big because dragons already have like enough a way of controlling sound just with their chests and air sacs. So, kinda. They climb and they launch themselves into the air. I'm not sure what works best for that. It basically needs to be the strength needed to put a dragon into the air effectively. Yeah, probably. What are whole lugos? Let me look that up. Copy text real fast. Paste and go. What are you? Oops. God damn it! I copied the entire message. Damn it! I said back. Go. Why is my computer being weird? Ooh, that might be your best bet then. If they are known for launching themselves. Just, you know. Or at least are they... Might be best to do kangaroos, maybe, from what I'm seeing here. Because basically those legs are meant to climb. They are meant to really push at the ground to put the dragon into the air. Anyway, yeah. So probably main focus would be kangaroo pelvis, but you can probably throw in that lemur just for a little bit of what do you call it? What was the reason I would put a little bit of lemur in there? Just trying to remember what I saw. Oh right, the climbing. The climbing. So basically, mostly kangaroo, but also taking some cues from that lemur. Oh, is there really something called a tree kangaroo? Is there really one of those? There is. Well, yeah. Does a tree kangaroo jump like the way a normal kangaroo does? Well, maybe not as strongly, of course, but okay. Let's see, what are we looking? Let me get a closer look. So, the only change I'd make from what I'm seeing of this tree kangaroo is probably thicker thighs. They just have to really move the mass out of the... They really need to move their mass. So, that's the main thing to keep in mind. But other than that, I think that works. Also, the fact that so dragons do locomote? Is that what it is? The dragons also locomote with hops, but they use their forelegs as a kind of land, or they land on their forelegs so they can easily reset for the next hop. So it's kind of like, it's not a traditional run, it's a foreleg, then back leg, then foreleg, back leg kind of thing. Which means that they move incredibly fast, but they also, or they at least move more faster than one would expect. Do you actually know what the kind of locomotion I'm talking about is called? Since it's not quite like bipedal hops, it's something else. Only faster. I think it's called loping as the general term. Just you know, just with the dragon, it's like loping at an incredibly high speed that would scare the pants off any dragon slayer. Yeah, basically the dragons lope, but faster and with faster and oh, that doesn't help. Okay. What is a four-legged lope then? Case. I think cheetahs run the way I'm thinking of. Just when they slow down, they go slow down. Okay. Let's see. Basically like that, you know. Back, I really want to talk about too. Hi. You back? Or no? That was just my thing doing that. Okay. That probably would definitely scare the pants off a dragon hunter. That might also affect the bones actually. Yeah, that's the version, so that's what we're getting. I'm gonna be here in bags. I just got back to you. I just had to grab something. Okay. So, I think I figured out how the dragons to be able to run. Uh, basically, think like a cheetah at their full speed, and basically a kangaroo at their when they're just like jogging or something. So they're not very. They either have like two speeds, fast or not very fast, and just walking, of course. But yeah. That way, this one was less trouble. That might be why that one has trouble. Like that. So, think of it a bit like if you had a kangaroo that was four-legged. Basically, that's what you'd get, and they really would just basically run like a cheetah, which uses a what is that gate called? Rotary gallop. Yeah. Also, I'm not sure if this affects the bones, so I'm gonna mention it here. Dragons have a double larynx. Basically, two larynxes at once, giving them a wider range of sound making. Would that affect the bone structure at all? Okay, so basically the internal floating bones of the larynxes. I'm trying to remember how I wanted that structure to look like too. The idea is like it's a larynx that decided to split up. I think it's just like it's still a single pathway, but the two larynxes can modify the sound as it goes. I'm trying to remember if that's how it would, if that's how I wanted it to work. Because they don't have omnidirectional breathing very much. They just have a rudimentary version of it, which is basically air sacs, from what I understand. I'm going with larynxes just because it's a bit more interesting to have a creature that has like mammalian voice box, but with like two in the same kind of area or voice box, I think. Like they're side by side. They just are in the same area and basically use the same air. It's not like a double, what do you call it? A double airflow thing. Does that sort of make sense? Let's see, I need to look up. Larynx, basically there, yeah. So. Yeah. It also means they can technically breathe while talking Draconic. Human is a bit more difficult. They usually have to use both at the same time to speak human, so they can't, like, speak it while flying, apparently. Just because everything is a little difficult when you have a snout. So, dual larynxes, so that would just be floating bones, basically, in the bone thing. What else are we dealing with? Oh, would you say flight surface frills would have bone in them, or just cartilage? Yeah, they aren't really, like, super holding up the weight. They're, like, an extra... They're basically, like, the tail fins of a plane. They're basically just supplementary lift with the ability to... Okay, as a note, you will find a fun thing in the base of the tail right after the hips. So, because these are flight surfaces, and they are used quite heavily as, like, control that allows the dragons to, like, glide without having to have super wide wings. Like, they're still wide wings, but they're not, like, super duper. So, anyway, these, not only are they good for, like, extra flight surface, they are very, very mobile, because that allows them to just flight without having to, like, move around wings a bunch and tire themselves out. So it allows them to do, like, a long-term glide if they want, because the muscles that they mainly have is fast twitch for the flying. So they can't really like pump the wings for long periods, but they can like pump, glide, pump, glide. Basically, the general idea, yeah, is that kind of sequence. The what do you call it? The frills, what I like to call what they're called in universe is glide frills, because they're used to glide. But they are what adjusts the flight path. They allow the dragon to basically make adjustments without having to fully adjust the wings, therefore saving energy. Because of this, they actually have some pretty thick muscles, not on the actual frills, but along the what do you call it? Along the tail. So there's like some pseudo ribs from the, what do you call them? The vertebrae at the base of the tail. So that the muscles for those attach to. I saw you trying to type a word out and you couldn't figure it out, it looked like. Okay. Welcome back. So, let's see. Okay, so we have that. Let's see, is there anything else I should mention? I think that's really everything. that would affect the bone structure anyway. What's... Oh, right. Would them having hollow bones actually affect, like, the actual, like, structure of the bones? Okay. Also, um, this this probably won't be drawn in the skeleton, but you can, like, add a little blurb or something that shows this in, like a thing, you know, box. So, what using some help with research, I was able to find a really interesting way to make it so the breaking of hollow bones isn't catastrophic. So, because I'm imagining that this would evolve because dragons are, you know, running around and climbing through, like, rocky terrain, so a fall with hollow bones, yeah. So they would evolve a way to make that not a death sentence. They have, do you know what, how do I pronounce this? Periosteum. How do I pronounce that? Let me copy paste this, yeah. So this is apparently something that's just normal for... I'm told that this is just a normal thing around bones normally, right? As always. But, so, what we are doing here is, it is thicker and fibrous. Like, pretty dang fibrous. It's elastic, and it apparently rapidly forms scars and what is that word? I think that's just scar forming. But basically, the general idea is that when a bone is broken, it will fracture and it will splinter. But this part has been improved to basically catch everything and keep it all in one place so it can heal. It's not perfect, as nothing ever is, but it allows a normal break to heal. Like, a very bad break is always going to be just destructive, but that's just general. There's nothing that can really make a terrifyingly a very bad break just be not very bad. You can't really do that with not without making the skeleton completely unwieldy. Also, I just scrolled up a little to read more. Apparently it also improves the ability for bones to heal. Because it kind of holds on to the bone fragments. It does not let it's designed to kind of keep it all at least in one place. It also means that that blood vessels are still attached to the bone through the periostem. The periostem will help provide blood to the broken bones, allowing them to actually heal. So it's actually like they don't have. This actually makes it harder to use broken bones against a flying creature like a dragon. So, and it's also another neat thing is it's very lightweight. It doesn't really add much to the overall weight of the dragon. It's basically, and it's also fun because it's something evolution could do in response to, you know, dragons falling and breaking bones. It's using an existing membrane, since all bones have this structure around them. It's now thicker, and it's thicker, denser, and more elastic. So it's basically like, this is just something that would evolve from this natural thing. That's, you know, in every animal. Cat or dog, really? Probably cat, to be honest, because cats are more designed for jumping. They'd semi. Like, they're still a bit long, but they're not, like, as long as a bird talon. Think, like, close to... Oh, what's it called? Probably, I think what you'd... shortened, what do you call it? A somewhat shorter... Well, a raccoon paw without one knuckle of the... Without one... What do you call those individual sections of a finger? Right, a joint. Or not joint, but, what? Yeah, without, like, one joint. So think like, basically, take a raccoon paw, remove one joint, and then give them retractable claws and, what do you call it? Retract. Why can't I say that? Retract. That's weird. I hate when that happens. Damn it. They have retractable claws. Right, there we go. Also, do you know what degloving is? That is what those claws can do. Yep. Basically, think like cat paws that have been elongated and are flexible and can grab. Does that sort of make sense? Yeah. Oh, damn it. I think it stopped again. That's annoying when it does that. Like, there's no setting I have that will not I really don't like how this can't seem to keep itself from stopping and such. Big hell if let's try refreshing, yes.
That's not